Hello and welcome to an analyzed match of Age of Empires 4. We're going to be watching a player named iamokay, who's in the whereabouts of 1350 rating. So actually pretty high in the grand scheme of things. He's probably top 15% of players, something like that. But then again, hopefully also an attainable level of skill for those watching. So the plan is basically I'm going to generally leave on Fog of War here, in particular because there are some mini-map bugs, which it's nicer to be able to see more clearly what he has seen so far and what he has not seen. And if I show everybody, sometimes I think we lose that data. So in this match, iamokay is playing as the Abbasid dynasty. He did let me know that he enjoys playing as them, so we'll see what he gets up to. And he's playing against the Delhi Sultanate. This is generally a matchup that I like quite a bit. These are two civs I was planning on maining going into this game, them and Mongols, sort of the more exotic civs for those of us Canadians. Okay, so running his scout out and about, looks like he finds his opponent's scout. Nice move actually. Just changes direction. Figures the sheep are probably taken up there. I might as well go along this route. So looking pretty good so far. Heading over to his base, presumably we'll see that House of Wisdom come down pretty shortly. Nobody on wood yet. Am I right on that? Does have 100 wood in the bank, though. I guess it adds up that they start with 200 wood. I've forgotten there. A couple of the civs start with different wood amounts. So House of Wisdom is now coming down with room to spare. So far the build looking very tight. Resources looking quite balanced. We will keep an eye on that. We'll also keep an eye on... let's go ahead and do this. Yep. So let's get the town center so you can more easily check back on it from anywhere and see if he is making villagers. Easy thing to miss at times, especially during battle. So House of Wisdom is down, still needs about 100 food. That's okay. No issues there. So going into this match, what can we expect? The Delhi Sultanate have a very strong castle age. They are also very good with the sacred sites, so potentially feudal age pressure, sort of defensive feudal age pressure is a possibility, right? He could potentially try to grab these sacred sites. We sometimes see players walling out their opponent, so some amount of aggression, at least a map presence, is probably going to be necessary coming into the feudal age. So I'm hoping to see something like an archery range go down, and this is post-January patch, so something like a stable could be viable as well. Get a few horsemen out and about and see what happens, and then in the worst case, you can run and you can act on that intel. Economic wing being started for iamokay. No surprise there. And moving on to stone. So it is looking like this is going to be a 2-town center boom. So still good usage of the scout running around on the map. Hopefully this continues. This is something I know I tend to fail at. You hit a certain point in the game and then the scout effectively gets forgotten about. But during that 2-town center boom, it's definitely easy to just forget, right? You're so focused on the defense that you're not looking around at what you can see. So we'll have to see what happens there. About 2/3 to the feudal age now. In fact, I'm going to close this. So we know it's Abbasid versus Delhi. We know we're against Macaphan here. You can see the score. I'll leave that up for now, even though he's not able to see it. And we'll just use the bottom left-hand corner for that information. He can now see his opponent. See that? Looks like maybe not an early mosque, but mosque is down. Halfway done something interesting, I guess. Guess we can see that because we're observers. And Dome of the Faith coming down. He's on berries. 2 villagers on gold. Doesn't tell us too much, I think. Because realistically, what is the Delhi going to make with gold? So it tells us maybe some kind of either just working towards the castle age or some kind of upgrading the feudal age. In theory, professional scouts or something like that. Could be wrong. Usually, once the meta is sort of hammered out. It's clearer, you know, 4 villagers means this, 3 villagers means this. Okay, so 6 villagers on stone here. Almost have the stone you need. And I'm assuming you're going to throw a TC right here. Be a pretty nice spot. You have the berries, so close to your other TC. Yeah, looking good. Really good. Now you see your opponent is walling. So the good news here is you're booming. So I think at least this should be interpreted as specifically good news. If your opponent's walling, that's great. That means he's playing into your current plan. Now, that doesn't mean he can't come up and wall further. So definitely worth keeping an eye, like having a scout around here or lurking around here. So we'll see. So you're on the feudal age now. Okay. Once this goes down, I'm curious if you'll put down, let's say, an archer range, something like that. I think you need one. I think you need a handful of archers in this map. So far, this is a very greedy boom. I mean, the boom is just beginning, but, you know, obviously nothing to defend yourself, not a single outpost, not a single military unit. You do at least know your opponent is walled here. You know they went up with Dome of the Faith. I think that's about all you know. They had no one on stone, so for all you know, this could be pro scouts into just feudal aggression. Is it just me, or does the scout seem really slow? Maybe it's just normal speed, and my brain is wired. So, building now out of both town centers here. So we'll keep an eye on that as we can. Looks pretty active so far. I'm assuming fresh foodstuffs did get made, and it did. All good so far. So quite a bit on gold here. So this is looking now like you're booming straight toward Castle Age. Okay, and you did actually identify a wall here. So this to me is a little concerning. If we... Oops, I am realizing I was accidentally showing off the... Hopefully you couldn't see the length of play at the top right, but my apologies if you can. So this is a bit concerning. I think this is too greedy. Too greedy. I mean, you can't have everything, right? You have to pick a thing you want to get away with, and you're being walled out here now. I think this could have been prevented with, you know, if you had 2 archers here, this doesn't get built. If I had to guess at how this game plays out now, so it looks like you were headed forward to wall yourself, which you're still going to do. That's fine. And now he's stonewalling. Yeah, I just feel like the early greed is so strong that you've basically left yourself. The only map presence you had was a single scout. So if I'm going to point out a major issue, I think that's it. I don't think you can... I don't think you can boom and go to Castle Age. I don't know if you're an AoE 2 player, but it would be like, imagine a 3 TC boom. Imagine a fast castle into a boom. It's like, okay, fine, you can do it, but without military pressure, like, it's so easily punishable. In this case, you haven't been punished militarily, but just in terms of map presence. So this sacred site is being taken. We'll try to keep an eye on the time for when both sacred sites inevitably are taken. And you see he's stonewalling on the other side, too. Well, good for him. He's definitely punishing this. Barracks now coming down. I'm assuming you're going to add a blacksmith and get maybe siege engineering? Something like that? It's for rams. Rams would be one way to try to turn this around. I should have made note when this town center went down. You're at what, 29 villagers? 28, 27? Something like that. 14 now. 3 per minute. I'll do that math in real time. So, 4 minutes? That's on 1 TC, so 2 minutes. You have a couple more minutes, I think, until this thing pays off. Which is fine. You can keep investing. I think you need this blacksmith. I'm not sure what these you need to start that tech right away. Because he probably doesn't have much going on either. Now, he has both sacred sites. We're just under 10 minutes. So, we'll keep an eye on that time. Oh yeah, Phalanx has been moved to the barracks. And you have clicked up to castle. Still with a lot of resources in the bank. Like, it almost looks like you're going up to Castle Age again. Okay. Still waiting for a blacksmith. Yeah, like I guess I'm just wondering what your plan is here. I'm hoping maybe if you watch this video and you can respond in the if you watch it on YouTube, respond in the comments what you're thinking at around this point. So just under 11 minutes, like let's say 9 to 11 minutes. What? Oh yeah, here's the blacksmith coming down now. Okay, so that's something. But yeah, I want to know what you're thinking when you're throwing down the first barracks. I want to know what your thought process is there. I like the full barrack spam. I don't mind that at all. I'm assuming this is just going to be, you know, men-at-arms being pumped out any second now. Really active villager production, which is very good. You have met the next age. Preservation of knowledge, good stuff. Oh, silly me, you're Abbasid. So, sorry, my mistake. Yeah, so you already have Siege Engineering. So what I would want then is, where are the spearmen? You want spearmen, like, ramming down these walls before men-at-arms. I think that's an additional bit of greed here. So my mistake on the blacksmith. Jeez, look at this unit spam. I mean, this is obviously a huge power spike. But the power spike doesn't matter if you're walled out, right? So, I think first couple of barracks, make some spearmen, make some rams. If they have archers, you know, well, it doesn't matter. You can pull the spearmen back, put them in the rams. They can't really stop you from taking down that wall. If they have cavalry, you pop the spearmen out. He's Delhi. He can't have men-at-arms until Castle Age. Okay, so now, okay, house. I'm assuming there's going to be a ram. He's adding towers here now. Yeah, way too much time given at these walls. I don't think he should have been able to add that tower. So hopefully, I'm assuming here you're committing to the left side. Which I don't mind at all. Blacksmith with ranged armor. Makes sense, makes sense. So you've used up the food now at least. Resource-wise, gold is a bit high. And wood is probably not high enough, which I'm assuming you've figured out. Because if you want those rams... Oh, you're going to chop the trees. Right. Yeah, I mean, that'll work. I think it's also... It somehow feels a little greedy. I mean, I don't know how they're going to patch this out. But why not go earlier? If this was your plan, why not go earlier? One villager builds an outpost. Another villager starts chopping trees, right? And then you can always pop... If they're going to re-wall, you can pop someone in and... Okay, so men-at-arms win here strongly. Just... Okay, so you're continuing to chop... Lumber camp. Respect. What is going on here? Oh, she's going back with the wood. It's not ideal. Oh, no, those are men-at-arms. Okay. And shot by the tower? Yikes. Yeah, I think this is way too greedy, man. Because, you could be hit. I'm trying to think what could hit you over the trees. I'm assuming archers can do it if they can see you. And this guy should be able to see you. So, like, a couple of archers here. These guys are dead, and then you never get through. Okay, you do have that ram now. And over here, just taking a quick look. What else is going on in your base? Almost 5 minutes into his sacred site victory here, so he's almost halfway there. Looks like you're almost chopped through. Okay, men-at-arms are through. And now he's a keep going down. So you would better be running right past this keep. Okay, so obviously your plan was to try to stop the keep going up. I think you have to go. You have to go right now, and you have to stop this. Because if you need to reset the Sacred Site timer. You are taking this thing down surprisingly quickly for a bunch of dudes with torches in their hands. But I don't think this is the right play. I think you also have a ram, which maybe it can't make it through. But it should at least be ramming down this and the gate. And he's going to put up another keep. Yeah, so I think we can pretty much speed up at this point. Drive you away with a Wololo. Actually, really nice play by him. Really nice play. Yeah, now he's just, the DPS on this thing is going to add up, right? Another Wololo. All this time being bought. Really, really nice defensive play. And if he can keep these things alive, he's going to do it again and again. So let's zoom out for a second here. Figuratively, of course. What is your advantage in this game? Your advantage was you added a second town center very, very early, right? So 2 town center boom. You should have more villagers than he does. 81 economy. And you could have potentially even gone for a 3rd if you chose. That's kind of the route you went, is economy. So how can you... I guess my question is... Oh yeah, and another stone wall going down. Yeah, this game's over. I'm going to speed up here. So I guess my question to you is... Why would you then also race to the Castle Age? So you used the economic boom this provided you to launch you into Castle Age, although, of course, you can get to Castle Age sooner without it. So presumably the plan is you want the bigger economy in Castle Age. But that is what I'm trying to describe, where it's having your cake and eating it too. You get like the super slow-mo runabout here. So that's having your cake and eating it too. And then even when you did get in, you had a chance to run straight through and to neutralize the Sacred Site, which I'm almost certain you would have been able to do with that number of units, because he wasn't ready with units. You could have started trickling forward this way. You had all kinds of options if you just made it through. But he was able to add keeps. You hung out near his keep. Something else to keep in mind, I think a lot of people lose sight of. People look at a keep and they think, man, that's an investment. Like, this is now the focal point. This for him was, I actually don't know if he has the, this was 600 or 800 stone, depending on his landmarks as Delhi. So that's it, right? 1 man-at-arms is 120 resources. So, 5 to 7 men-at-arms. That's this investment. Now, that's not nothing, but that's... I'm going to slow down here because the game's about to end. I don't want to get stuck in another screen. But the best thing you can do is just nullify the investment and just run past, right? You could even potentially later come back, ram this down, and run right by the castle without even worrying about it. So he built this, and then you played directly into his hands by confronting the castle. And so technically the last thing you want to do is confront a castle. If you can get damage in elsewhere, that should be the game plan. So I'll just pause it from here on out. So I think that's pretty much it. I think if you're going to boom, you need to apply some pressure. So that means even a single archery range to poke. And then if you poke, you learn something, you potentially interfere with whatever his plans are. In this case, it definitely would have interfered with him putting down stone walls. And also with taking the sacred sites, which is probably expected since he's playing as the Delhi. Additionally, if you find there's a big weakness, you can commit harder. You can make 5 archers and stop, and then just head right to the Castle Age. So you have all the options once you do that. Remember as well, the town center takes normally about 5 minutes to pay off with with Abbasid and the fresh foodstuffs, it takes closer to 4 minutes. I think just under 4 minutes. So you have a disadvantage until 4 minutes have passed. Now, you might think, well, then why would I make units? I'm just going to lose if they go out on the map. Well, you can always run away, right? So you go out, see what's out there, poke around a little. If you're worried about being able to run away, make some horsemen, right? They can always retreat, and horsemen would have helped here quite a bit as well. So in the future, I think it's pretty simple. I think your build is technically pretty good. I just think you need to go with your 2 TC boom, add an archery range. As soon as this thing is not finished, but as soon as it is building, as soon as you have 150 wood, you want to be putting down an archery range. You're already getting fresh foodstuffs. Let's assume that. You have a bunch of villagers on wood. At that point, produce a handful of archers out of the 1 range. And you can play it by ear. If you think there's a need to add more ranges, you can, or stables, or whatever it is you want. But at that point, that's where you poke. That's where you see what's going on, and you can play it by ear. Okay, folks. This has been Paragon RG. Special thanks to iamokay for letting me go through one of his matches to review. It was a good match. I see a lot of good things here. I like your build quite a bit. I just think it's too greedy. All right, folks, that's all for now. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, like and subscribe on YouTube. It helps me out quite a bit, and I will catch you next time.